The odds of finding a shiny in Pokemon are 1 in 4,096. But today, I want to see if it's possible to beat Pokemon Emerald using only shinies. Now, you might be thinking, this challenge is definitely impossible. And you're right. This challenge is impossible. Or is it? I'm going to be using a ROM hack that increases shiny odds, so it is a little bit easier to find and catch shinies. I decided to pick Trico as my starter because it has the coolest shiny in my opinion. I picked Trico, saw it wasn't shiny, reset. Then I did again. Reset, again, reset. I reset a bunch of times. I did this so many times to the point that the Zigzagoon was even shiny before my Trico was, which kind of angered me. I kept resetting, and well, it took a while, but on attempt number who knows which, I finally found the shiny, which looked really amazing to be honest, and I was really happy. I finished the Zigzagoon off and named my Pokemon Rizzard. Then I challenged May, and to my surprise, she had a shiny Torchic. Then I got my Pokédex and Pokéballs. I went on my journey, and guess who else found a shiny? Wally. I made it to Rustboro, got cut, evolved Rizzard into Grovyle while fighting a gym trainer, and challenged Roxanne, who was pretty easy. That nose pass was definitely easier than I remember. I found a shiny Azurill that I named Gold. I also found a shiny Tailo that I named Swell. I returned to Devon's Goods and got sent on a mission to Dewford. I caught an Aeron that I named Aggro, but I lost the footage where I delivered the letter and beat Brawly, so now I'm in Mauville. On the way, I caught a shiny Makuhita and shiny Electrike, which I named Yokozuna and Sparky. Then, I finally beat Mauville's gym, which took a pretty long time. I ran around for a pretty long time in the fiery path to find a shiny Numel, which I named Hawaii. A great addition to the team, which would definitely help on the next gym, Flannery. While I was training for the gym, I taught my Numel Magnitude, which I thought would just be enough to defeat Flannery, but I was definitely wrong. After barely losing to Flannery once, I went out and evolved Makuhita into Hariyama. I evolved Swell into Swellow, but I again underestimated Flannery and lost. I had to have my Numel evolve into Camerupt even before attempting to fight Flannery again, but this time, with Camerupt, it was quite easy. Turns out, I grinded way too much, because Norman wasn't difficult either, which he usually is. Yokozuna made quick work of all those normal types, and that was that. Next, it was time to fight May. I wasn't sure if I was prepared for this or not, but there was no going back. Well, it was pretty easy. I went to Fortree City and challenged Winona, who I was already scared of. This time, coming out victorious with a brand new evolved Sceptile. Next up was Maxie in the Magma base, whose Crobat gave me a hard time, but I did come out on top. I then beat Team Aqua at their base and went to Moss Deep to challenge Tate and Liza, who are arguably the hardest gym in this game, where I got destroyed the first time I challenged them. I gave Sceptile a few rare candies before being able to beat Tate and Liza, and then I decided it was time to get a new water type. Next, it was time for the underwater Team Aqua base, where Archie awoke Kyogre after I beat him sort of easily. Then, the world was put into anarchy by Maxie and Archie, so I made my way to Sootopolis, where Groudon and Kyogre were dueling. I met Wallace in the Cave of Origin, who told me to meet him at the Sky Pillar, and that was where I awoke Rayquaza. I returned to Sootopolis. It was finally time to face Juan, the last gym leader. I was definitely prepared, but Sceptile and Manectric would have to do most of the work. First was his Whiscash, which I one-shot with Leaf Blade. Next, Celio, who I switched to Manectric for because Sceptile was weak to ice. Then, the Kingdra, a dragon water type with only one weakness, Dragon. I took out Yokozuna, as well as Sparky, Swell, Speedo, and Hawaii, leaving only Rizzard left. Rizzard finished it with 2 Leaf Blades. Leaf Blade sent Gorbis down, and Seeking, who was also one-shot by Leaf Blade, which left only a Ludicolo. The Ludicolo paralyzed Rizzard and tanked a lot of hits, but eventually went down. I made it to Evergrande and cleared the victory road fairly quickly, but it was time to fight Wally for the very last time. His first Pokemon was Altaria, which Sparky took care of. His Gardevoir started to give me trouble, but it went down soon enough. After that, the battle was mostly straightforward and easy. I finally made it to the Pokemon League and decided it was time to find Rayquaza. I went to the Sky Pillar, where the bike areas gave me lots of trouble. After all of that, I reset until I found a shiny Rayquaza, which also took a very long time. I then used the Master Ball immediately and named it Kaido. After that, I was ready to take on the Elite Four. First was Sydney, the Dark-type user. Yokozuna dealt with Mightyena. Rizzard took care of Crawdont easily. And Yokozuna took Absol out after suffering from an aerial ace. Hawaii finished it. Phoebe, the Ghosty. I'll keep this one short and say that Speedo and Rizzard swept their whole team. Next was Glacia, who used ice types. Very good against my team. I took out a lot of her Pokemon with Yokozuna and Kaido, but she brought me down to just my Rayquaza. Kaido got destroyed by her Wall Rain, and my Elite Four run was over. After many hours of grinding, I was ready once again. Sydney's Mightyena was simple again, and so was the rest of that battle. Phoebe always gives me trouble, with grudges, pressure, curse, whatever else she wants to throw at me, but this time, it didn't go too badly. A clean victory, and it was time for my rematch with Glacia. First was Celio, who Yokozuna easily took care of. The Glalie took Yokozuna pretty low. Hawaii, who got a lucky flinch and took down the Celio. She sent out Wall Rain, and I sent out Kaido. He hit one Overheat and switched to Sparky, Glalie, who went down to 2 Thunders. The final Elite Four member was Drake, the Dragon user. Altaria took out 3 of my Pokemon. Kaido beat Flygon and Salamence, but was low in a 1v1 against Kingdra. I was left with no choice but to use a full restore or revive, and I chose to use a max revive on Rizzard, letting Kaido faint. But then, Kaido miraculously survived another body slam from Kingdra, and I decided to full restore Kaido, and I hit 2 flies and barely managed to beat Drake. Then, it was finally the battle I'd been training for this entire time. The champion battle against Wallace. First was Wailord, who was one-shot by Thunder. The Gyarados avoided the Thunder though, and Sparky was hit by an Earthquake, so I riskily brought in Rizzard, who was also defeated. While fighting the Gyarados, he swapped to Executor, who psychicked Yokozuna to death. Hawaii then used an Eruption and took the Executor out, but sadly went down to Ludicolo. I was now down to my last Pokemon once again, Kaido. He one-shot the Ludicolo, but Wallace still had 3 Pokemon, a Hyper Beam, and so I lost. I went back into the champion battle after beating the Elite Four, and Wailord was once again very easy, but this time Gyarados was hit by the thunder and was defeated. Rizzard one-shot the Whiscash with a Leaf Blade and took the Milotic very low, but went down heroically. Wallace healed, and Yokozuna wasn't the man for the job either. I sent out Sparky, and he did it with thunder. Finally, his last Pokemon was Executor, and I was ready. All it took was one fly, and I was the champion. I finally completed this challenge, all thanks to Sparky, Rizzard, Yokozuna, Speedo, Hawaii, and Kaido. And with that, thank you all for watching. Make sure you like this video and subscribe if you enjoyed it. If this video hits 100 likes, I will do this same challenge as a Nuzlocke. I hope to see you all again in a future video. Goodbye.